the day. The subject of the day is inspiring leadership and the lessons from our ancient tradition. And India is a very, very ancient country. It is a nation, it's a civilization, it's a people. And historians say the Indian civilization is 7,000 years old. Not only Indian civilization is 7,000 years old, it is the living civilization. There are old civilizations, the Egyptian, Greek civilizations, some Mesopotamian civilization, the Incas and the Mayans in South America. But all these civilizations have disappeared from the planet. The Indian civilization is agile, living, kicking and growing. It's a growing banyan tree. You may not be able to see the original trunk, but from that original trunk, more and more branches and roots have come, and this is a huge tree, the Indian civilization. So when we talk about the Indian tradition, we are talking about this oldest civilization and the strongest civilization and the most alive civilization. And we have a lot to learn from this civilization. And all our knowledge that our rishis, sages, munis and prophets, all the knowledge that they have created are all enshrined in wonderful books. It is not just an oral tradition which get corrupted and distorted as the time flows by. It is a tradition which is well recorded in the most beautiful and scientific language in the world, the Sanskrit language. And the great books like Mahabharata, Ramayana, Panchatantra, Hitopadesha, Manusmriti, the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, which is part of the Mahabharata. Where else upon the earth you can get such a rich tradition, voluminously rich tradition, that too written words. Where else can you get? And the great people like Chanakya, like Sri Krishna. So that's the kind of the civilization we are talking about, the culture, the tradition. And so there is a lot to talk about this tradition. I'm not going into all those details. I'll be picking up snippets from here and there, a little bit from there, a little bit from here, like even a child going to seashore and picking up a handful of sand and playing with it. Or you go to the sea with a bucket and take a bucket of water and say, this is the sea. That's not the sea. There is only a bucket from the sea. But that's all what you can do. So this is what I shall be doing. Little bit of from here and there and create a collage of knowledge for you. So inspiring leadership from the Indian wisdom tradition. A leadership has to be inspiring. You don't have to say that inspiring leadership. Leadership means to inspire people to take up great tasks and work together consistently till you realize the goals. You set up a goal like Mahatma Gandhi, set up a goal, freedom from the country, independence for the country. He set up a goal and he inspired the people. He created leaders who themselves were inspired by the goal, and they worked consistently for the realization of the goal. And finally, we had a tryst with the destiny on 1947, August 15. There was a tryst with the destiny. This is what leadership means. Creating goals. Where ordinary people hesitate, will I be able to reach there? Will I be able to get there? Like President Kennedy, he set a goal that I have to put a man on the moon. People thought it's a moony thought. How can you put a man on the moon so far away? Kennedy decided that we have to put a man on the moon. And they worked consistently for that. And finally, Kennedy was assassinated in 1963. But in 1969, while Nixon was the president, they could put a man on the moon. Neil Armstrong, who said, "For me it is only a small step, but for humanity it is a big leap." To set goals like that. That is the function of leadership. They don't see the mess that is happening now. They see there is a future. They set goals. They think in long term. And then they work towards that. Even when people around them dissuade them, discourage them. Is it possible? You don't know the condition here. When Gandhi came here, that was what he heard. You don't know what is going on here. You were in South Africa for 20 years. What do you know about India? And they split into several languages, several castes. People are all poor. And you are fighting against the biggest empire in the world where the sun never set. How can you fight against such a formidable enemy? Was the words of wisdom as though that was given to Gandhi. But Gandhi decided that I must have the freedom. I must live in a free country. It is my birthright. He didn't analyze the situation around. He consulted his soul, his conscience, and his own inner self. And he came upon this idea that we must be free. And he worked towards it. He organized people. He traveled over the country. And finally, we got freedom. This is the meaning of leadership. That is not your dharma. So first of all, you have to survive to practice dharma. This is what I say, optimal decision as far as Krishna is concerned. Now let us come to Hanumanji. Hanumanji is called servant leader. Leaders are many types. These days, they talk about servant leaders. Servant leaders mean they are very humble, but they are very strong inside. Once a job is given to them, they won't demand a job. Give me the job. No. They don't demand leadership. They're like Lal Bahadur Shastris. If you put me on the post, I will do my best. Otherwise, I am happy with wherever I am. Hanumanji also was like that. He wouldn't say, I can jump to Lanka and bring Sita back and get all the information. All other monkeys started speaking in the war council. Nila said, I can jump 80 kilometers. Nala said, I can jump 90 kilometers. Angada said, I can jump 120. Once I jump, it is 120. That means you won't land in Lanka, you will land in the sea. So everybody displayed their own talent. Hanumanji was the only person who did not say anything. He was keeping quiet. He knows that finally the ball will come to him. Where else it will go. So therefore, he sat quiet, and then finally Rama surveyed all these people who was boasting about their powers, their capabilities, and Hanumanji was very quiet and silent. Then Rama turned to him, gave his ring, said, you will do it. Then that was said. Now nobody was jealous also. Nobody was jealous because he didn't come forward. It came to him. Now Hanumanji got a mission in life. Earlier he had no mission. He was sitting on the Rishimugachala, that mountain, doing nothing. And his master, Sugriva, was a drunkard. So I always used to wonder, what were Hanumanji and Sugriva doing there? Maybe having a couple of drinks. What else they will do? When you have nothing to do, what will you do? Couple of drinks, playing cards, gossiping about Wali and other people. That's all what they were doing. So, but Hanumanji had no mission, no vocation. Then suddenly he sees Rama. And he submits himself to Rama.